All right. Now I want to go ahead and make this video just to get it out of the way. I won't be able to sleep at night if I don't. And it's sort of in response to a post that was created by Cynthia G. Now, I've talked about Cynthia G a few times on this channel, and I don't want to really single her out as if she's the devil, but she is a spokesperson for a large group of people, and that's what I view her as. She represents what a lot of other women think, and some men. So it's not so much about her. She's just the representative of a mindset. She represents a train of thought, and I'm speaking to the train of thought. But she made this post yesterday in response to this post that somebody made to her. And this person said, "Cynthia, I like you, but you surely must have been clout chasing Kevin Samuels too, when you were putting his name in your videos 1,000,000 times. Just be real." This is a comment that somebody left to Cynthia G. And in response to this, message, Cynthia G wrote this, and she made a post out of it, a public post in her community section. Now you might hear fireworks in the background, just bear with me. She said, "Kevin had no clout to chase. If he did, he wouldn't be taking a dust nap 6 feet deep. He's worm food now." Those of you who don't know, Kevin Samuels was a popular YouTuber who gave dating advice primarily to black people or black women. And he died recently, I think just a few weeks ago, maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. And she said he had no clout, and if he had clout, he wouldn't be taking a dust nap 6 feet deep. She said he's worm food now. There's no reason to mention his corpse that's now decaying in the low value coffin that he's in. Low value, high value. He used to talk about low value people in general. And the people who are the same value should seek each other out. That if you're low value, you need to recognize why you're low value and stick to dating people within your range, which makes perfect sense. I never used to watch Kevin Samuels content, but I got the gist of some of the things that he used to talk about. And to me, that sounds quite innocent. I've never found any of his content where he degrades black women. And look, I grew up with sisters. I grew up with 5 sisters, and really 7 if you include foster sisters. 3 boys, 7 sisters. You can imagine that household. I feel like I know women fairly well. And look, with a lot of women from my community, they will interpret fair criticism as bashing. You know, if you tell them that they are out of shape, they need to watch what they eat, get in the gym, oh, you're bashing. So I take that with a grain of salt when people say that you're bashing. But I've never found any of his videos. If you are aware of any of his videos where he degrades black women, just let me know. Leave it in the comment section. Now, when you leave links in the comment section of these videos, sometimes YouTube will automatically block them. So I'll be sure to look out to approve. It'll block them where I have to approve them first. it get filtered as spam. So just so you know. But leave a link to any videos that I might not have seen, because I've never seen Kevin Samuels doing that. But anyways, I just want to sort of speak on this. I feel sort of obligated to speak on this because I do have a history here on YouTube that I cannot erase. I cannot erase. The channel that I created, I can't even delete that channel. I don't remember the password. I cannot delete it. I can't create more content. It's stuck up there forever, and I cannot escape it. And I gave my criticisms of black women and our relationship with black women, black male-female relationships in general, and I left it alone. Because I knew that if you dwell for too long in this era of, or in this mode of criticism, to the point where you don't acknowledge anything else but what someone else does, a member of your community does wrong, that is it's a lack of balance. It'll prove for a dysfunctional person. It will cause you yourself to be dysfunctional. And most likely you'll start to be just as dysfunctional as the people you criticize. And that's what I want to touch on. Too many men are out here feeding into posts like this, and who start to participate in this level of just evil. And it's not going to help you. And really, it's just going to turn you into a bickering. I mean, if you're a man, it will turn you into a gossipy female yourself, to sit up and go back and forth with people who've proven that they are just flat out insane, out of their mind, evil, completely out of their mind. Cynthia G preaches eugenics to black people, and Cynthia G is black. There's nothing else that needs to be said. That's all you need to know about any person, to know that they are too whacked out of their mind to even have a discussion with. Y'all know how a person will go off the deep end and they will make insane comments about you. It is so insane and just hateful and evil that you're like, you cut yourself off. You're like, okay, whatever, right? I'm gonna go about my business, whatever. You know, you talking to somebody and they come out, well, I hate your guts. I hope you die. I hope you get your neck slipped. I hate you, your guts. I hate your kids. Your kids should die. You know how people go off the deep end and make just crazy statements like that? At a certain point, people get so crazy where you just like, look, okay, well, yeah, all right, whatever. You need to check yourself in, bro. You know, I'm worried about you. Go on, handle your business, but I'm not going to engage with you. When you stoop to that level of insanity, you don't engage people like that. You don't go back and forth with people like that. And the big mistake I see some men making is they will respond to statements like this by making a similar statement like this, except towards black women. Don't let these women turn you into a little demonic devil like themselves. And same for the women. I've seen black men who made statements like this, celebrating when a black woman is dead or is killed, throwing a party. Do not go back and forth with people like this. Now, you can do whatever you want. Just as a person who's put their opinion out there, I never reached this point. I never preached the idea of aborting black females, telling black males, yeah, go ahead. And if you have a daughter, a black daughter, make sure you have her aborted. You know, being critical is one thing. Saying stuff like this, that's a whole different thing. At a certain point, you got to deem people sick, evil, sick, and crazy, insane, and you got to disconnect from them. Now, the crazy thing about this, wait a minute. Man, I hope y'all can see this. I hope I've not been. Okay, yeah, y'all can see it. Now, here's the scary part, fellas. This is the scary part. Now, brace yourself. Brace yourself. Okay, let me switch screens here. This is where it get difficult. It get difficult for you to ignore. Is when you scroll down and you look at the comments that people left in response to this post. Here's the post that she made, and she just, sort of bragging about what she said. She said, when will they ever stop playing with me? She said, they know my mouth is on demon time. This woman knows she's possessed by devils. She knows she's demonically possessed. People, demonic possession is real. I hate to say it. I feel funny saying it. It's real. Demonic possession is real. And many of our people are demonically possessed. I hate to say it, but I gotta say it. It's my duty to say this, man. Y'all, you've been warned. Many of our people are possessed by demons. They're a bunch of evil people. And the good thing about Cynthia's channel is she makes them feel comfortable, expressing their evil, expressing the fact they're demonically possessed. Because you have a whole slew of her followers who's celebrating this post, bigging her up, laughing, and sort of regurgitating her same sentiments. That worm food took me out. Well, you go, Cynthia. Yay, Cynthia. That's right, girl. You go, girl. That's basically how they are here in the comment section. Oh, Cynthia, a straight savage. Ooh, girl, yeah, you gone. Yeah. Listen. Now, I'm going to fill you in on a secret of mine, a really personal secret of mine. I have not dated seriously in a good 2 decades because I don't want to run into a evil woman like this. My relationship with women is sadly distant. It's sadly distant. I do have relations. I just refuse to get into a serious relationship. Definitely no marriage, no children. And it is because of this. Y'all know some of these women who talk like this, who entertain this type of spirit, still date black men. Can you imagine how much trouble you'll be in if you are in a relationship with a woman this crazy who's celebrating the deaths of black men? This is a tough, a harsh reality that we got to deal with. A lot of our people hate black people. A lot of black people hate black people more than any other group. They hate black people more than any other group. That's why this thing about this racism is a spirit. And black people can adopt that spirit where they love everybody else and got all the vile and hatred. It's only for black people. Just like a racist would. There are several black people the same way. Black people, you gotta acknowledge black people like that and avoid them. With just one man's opinion. Look, you can do whatever you want to do, but I feel like it's my duty to put this advice out there. To put whatever I learned over my years, 45 years, whatever I picked up, to put it out there and leave it for the next generations. Avoid people like this. They are going to be highly toxic, nothing but toxic, and they're going to lead you to hell. Basically, And look, I don't play around with evil like this. I believe that once you're so evil, boy, you won't enjoy an afterlife. If there is such a thing as an afterlife in which we don't know, if there is such a thing, I don't think you're going to enjoy it. Not if you're a little sick, evil, demonic, twisted human being like this, where you promote killing black male babies. She seriously promotes the idea of black women, if they become pregnant by a black man and they find out that they're going to have a black male, abort it. That's what she supports. And when you have a following as strong as hers, and she has the opportunity to influence so many people, you have a greater responsibility. And if you start pushing a narrative like that, I believe that's a level of sick evil that will deny your crazy behind an afterlife. Most definitely. Stay away from these sick people. As much as I had criticism, and look at that, and the amount of comments is unbelievable, and they're just cheerleading. Ooh, girl, yeah, you get them, Cynthia, you get them. These dusties, these bullet bags, call black males bullet bags. Now think about that. They have this thing where they call black males bullet bags, and they celebrate when black men are shot, either by other black men or by cops, doesn't matter. They celebrate it. They celebrate lynching. I've seen some of them even have photos all over their channels where they of black men being lynched and hung. They view the lynching of black males. They celebrate it, glorify it. Come on. You know, it's pretty overt at that point who's the sick people in the community and who's not. People like that, avoid them. Flat out. Don't start to entertain them. Don't start to replicate their energy. That's what I'm actually trying to say. See, a lot of these people that's following her, they're replicating her. They see, without the internet, before the internet, people like this would be forced to keep this side of themselves suppressed, to keep it to themselves. If they had any thoughts, anything like this, they would be forced to keep it to themselves. But when they find somebody with a large platform, embracing that lowly part of themselves, embracing this demonic energy, they feel more comfortable to embrace it themselves, and then they just come out the closet. And once they come out and start to entertain this sickness, they become sicker and sicker. So it does not make sense for you to go back and forth and debate these people. It don't make no sense for you to sit up here trying to convince Cynthia G's followers to stop following her. That's a complete waste of time and energy. Spend your energy doing something constructive. These women who follow Cynthia G, they are plumb out of their mind, just as evil and sick as Cynthia G. Stay away from people like this. Like I was saying, I had a lot of criticism for black women. There's a lot of things that I feel is an issue, and it's my duty to point them out. I don't have no choice. I don't care what nobody think about it. I've talked about black women's open display of insecurity. This at a much more extreme level than any other group of people on this earth. Look, it's a problem. I'm not comfortable with it. And I would be doing a disservice to the community in general if I didn't point it out as a problem. If I were to ignore it, that's another way of supporting the problem. And no, I'm not going to do that. I don't have as large of a following as Cynthia G. But over the years that I've been making videos here on YouTube, well over 1 million people have heard me speak. Over a decade that I've been doing videos, well over 1 million people have heard me speak. I got well over 1 million views on YouTube in somehow, some way, covering some subject. So I feel like I got a responsibility to, be positive and constructive. I don't know about Cynthia. See, people like Cynthia, they will turn you into the same type of person you're criticizing. What do we criticize these crazy, sick, self-hating black women for? Hating themselves, hating their blackness, hating what they are, showing disrespect to their history, to their ancestry. I'm not going to participate in that just because they're being a little sicko, a little evil human being. I'm not going to let them turn me into somebody who wants to see black girls killed. Who in their right mind? Step back for a minute and listen to yourself when you get on narratives like that. I'm not a sick, twisted, crazy individual. I don't know what happened to Cynthia G. Something happened to this woman that has made her completely lose her mind. Something happened to her that completely broke her spirit and destroyed and shattered her mind to where now she's just a very sick, very evil individual, and people need to acknowledge her as such. Acknowledge and anybody else like her as such. Stop accepting anybody as normal or acceptable just because they black. No, we got some sick, evil individuals, even in all races. Better get off this thing where certain people of certain races are all good. Or just because you black, you all good. Or just because you white, you all good. No, there's evil people flat out in all groups. And they need to be called out. It's time to wage war on evil people, where no matter where they come from. And if you old twisted, flicked, disgusting individual out here supporting the extermination of black boys, black girls, or the hatred or the killing, you talk about celebrating the death of black women, black men, black kids, you a little sick, twisted individual, and people need to call you out. Pressure need to be put on you. Simple as that. Now I called out this evil spirit that has taken possession of many of our women. I called this out years ago. And it's almost a decade ago now. I said that many of these black women sort of adopted this demonic spirit because of their historical experience, and that they show a more overt level of self-hatred than black men. But black men seem to view that as a choice that black women had that they could have rejected, that they simply could have rejected. And that's not the case. It's quite natural for the women to have a higher level of self-hatred when they've gone through what black people have gone through. Because when a group of people are destroyed, the women are going to be more destroyed than the men. The men will always be the most rebellious of the bunch. They're going to rebel mentally and physically. Whereas the women are more subjected and they're under far more pressure to submit and participate in the evil. They were under more pressure to accept the idea of inferiority. Does that make sense? As females, no matter what group is captive like our ancestors were, any group of people in that situation, the females are going to be under more pressure to submit to the dominant males and whatever narrative they're trying to push. If it's a narrative that you're inferior to us, the females are going to be more submitted or subjected to that narrative. All throughout history, there was always a large group of black men who were outlaws, who rebelled nonstop. their entire existence, for the entire duration of their life, there's always been a group of black men who did nothing but fight against oppression. The group of black people who always fought against oppression, it was primarily black males, because again, males will always be the most rebellious of the bunch. And that is why that belief is out there that the women are to be protected, that the men should put their life on the line to protect their women. Because when the mother's mind is destroyed, that's going to have a much more powerful influence in a negative way on the group in general. You know, women, what do they say? Women, mothers are the first teachers and all that. They're the first teachers. And they shape on an emotional level. So it's real powerful. It's real important. Protect your women's mind. Protect your women's mind. So once it's destroyed, man, it might take you generation upon generations to recover from that. So my point is, a lot of black men view it as just outright betrayal. Why did you choose to accept the idea that you were inferior so much? And me personally, I step back and realize that that's part of the process. You know, we didn't ask to inherit this type of legacy. You know, we were born in an era, our ancestors went through something horrific, and there are some consequences. Okay, what are they? This is one of them. Right? But at the same time, when the mothers have been destroyed to that extent, they're going to destroy a lot of their sons. And their sons are going to pick up that self-hatred. They're going to grow up and hate black people too. They're going to grow up and hate black males, hate black females, whatever the case. They're going to grow up to be evil as well. That's not a way of blaming black women for anything. I can't blame anyone for having been destroyed, you know, to having their minds destroyed. And this happens with groups in general. A lot of groups, well, all groups, I won't say a lot of groups, all groups right now, their pervasive mentality that permeates through their population, it is because of something that they went through as a people in the past, in the history. History is always present. You never, what they say, get over history. No people ever get over history. All that any group of people is and can be is a representative of what they have historically gone through. You can't be something outside of your historical experience to shape you to be the people that you are today. You can't blame people as individuals for how they are. The most they can do is recognize how they are and try to correct it. With these women, they are not willing to recognize that they're sick, twisted. They've inherited demonic energies and spirits. They've inherited a spirit of self-hatred, hatred for how they look, for their whole existence period. They haven't acknowledged and accepted and tried to fight against it. Or they're aware of it and totally comfortable with it and hate themselves so much they just want to not reproduce themselves, that they don't even want to reproduce. Their brains are so destroyed, they don't even want to reproduce. And that's the perfect way to lead a group of people into genocide. Destroy their minds to an extent to where they want to depopulate voluntarily. They don't even want to look at their own kind as a group of people that they want to reproduce with, have kids with. So this all amounts to a program, a sickness that you got to acknowledge and either choose to participate in or fight against. I'm advising to the males, to everybody, not just the males. But I feel like I got a better idea of how men think because I'm a man, right? But look, avoid these types of people. I don't care, male or female. Don't sit up there. You know, that's a disservice to your ancestors. If I don't care, you want to hate black males, hate black females, that's a disservice to your ancestors. Many of your ancestors were black males and black females. Now, you can do whatever you want. You can live like old sicko if you want. I'm not. And I'm pointing it out. And the fact is, fellas, a lot of our women are destroyed. They're all over this page, celebrating, got pom-poms out, throwing a party. Oh, the fact this woman they celebrating black men being killed, basically. That's all this is. It's celebrating the idea of a black man who's dead. These black women on here sound like neo-Nazis. That's why these neo-Nazis went on to Cynthia's show. They always coming on her show talking about thank you. You're saying what we really want to say, but we get canceled. A few of them actually came out and said that. Thank you, you ladies. You're such an inspiration. You're saying what we want to say. You're saying what we say behind closed doors, but we'll get canceled if we come out and say it. But you're saying it, so thank you. Anytime you got neo-Nazis who want you black people destroyed, thanking you as a group of black people, you're doing something wrong. I don't care who it is. People, black people, we have lost our whole mind. This little modern generation, this generation is getting sicker and sicker by the generation. And we got to snap out of it. We got to get back to our good old-fashioned ways of calling out little sick, evil people when we see them and rebuking them, sending them back where they came from, putting a spotlight on them, right? Exposing them as the little demonic entities that they are, and don't follow them, right? Many are people destroyed, man. And like I said, I encourage all groups of people to do this. Always wage war against evil wherever you find it, even if it's in your own group. Do not carry on this idea just as somebody black like you or white like you that they're acceptable. No. And if everybody in each group does this, that'll make the world a better place. Handle the debauchery and the sickness within your own group and stop celebrating it and embracing it as something positive. So yeah, we got a lot of sick people among us like this. I don't know the demographics. I never even thought to compare who's sicker, black males or black females. I don't care who's sicker. We both sick as hell. We need to acknowledge it and stop wallowing in it and celebrating it. Yes, sir, demonic possession is real. I studied for years under Dr. Amos Wilson, who was a psychologist and a professor, and taught me a lot about demonic possession. It is real. And all it requires is that you go through a certain type of experience that alters your frame of mind, your perception of reality. And suddenly you got a new spirit. That's all it is a certain type of energy that you have. So stay safe out there. People, stay positive. That's our job in this life. Stay positive, stay constructive, and always fight for what's right and stand up for what's right. Don't ever let nobody encourage you to embrace no little sick, twisted, evil mentality.